My side is that it was from the internet, but it had to be mp3.com. I don't think MySpace was even prevalent at the time in 2002. mp3.com was one of the big outlets at the time to hear new bands. We were doing really well on the metal charts. We had 3 songs in a demo that were like in the top 3 there in death metal. Basically, we were just scraping for anything we could use in a bio at the time. You know what I mean? Review snippets, any band we could play with out of town that was decent, and with the goal of making an impressive rap sheet to try to like sell ourselves to someone. But that was a few times where we got courted by labels for a second. You know what I mean? Of various sizes and walks from the different scenes and stuff, and it definitely got us pumped to try it harder. You know what I mean? I think Willowtip still is an underground label, but I mean, one of my favorite ones. They've blossomed into this incredible roster over the years. But even back then, they were one of my favorite labels, and it was an honor that Jason would have us aboard. But obviously, when Metal Blade called, we had to. You know what I mean? Like, had to try it. Black Dahlia Murder in the very early days was definitely metalcore as fuck, and definitely a prayer for cleansing, like undying mishmash, basically. And that's what all those guys were into. It was Brian, Corey that would play on the first record, and then a few other players that we kind of like phased out eventually. But yeah, dude, Prayer for Cleansing was the jam. I mean, if I ever did that with this band, and we ever did seek out, guest vocals, I have a damn long list for you. That's for sure. Chris Reifert from Autopsy. That dude's like my hero, man. I'd love to have that guy in an album. Lyrically, like he's one of my biggest influences. King Fowley from Deceased. Corpse Grinder, like I said. I mean, there's a ton. I could make a whole opera. I've considered doing side projects before, but it kind of, I don't know, it just comes down to, I always kind of pussy out of it somehow. I don't know what it is. I get more nervous about doing art with someone else, I guess, and somehow tarnishing our legacy. I mean, hopefully not, but that's just the way my negative ass thinks. And it's, I guess, somewhat ironic. I mean, I've sang on 10,000 albums, like to be helpful, hopefully, and get more eyes on them and stuff. And because I like to do it, and I like to hear it too. You know what I mean? I like when bands have collaborations, but for BDM, we've never done it. You know what I mean? And I think it's just wanting to represent every song exactly how you heard it on the album. I mean, that's another thing. I'd love to have Corpse Grinder on a song, but then I'll be missing Corpse Grinder every night. You know what I mean? And that's really just it. That's the cut and dry of it, pretty much. And there's a lot of different things I'd love to do outside of this band. I'd love to sing in a punk band again, like sing, like some kind of Fat Records type shit. No effects, something like that. That was like more like what I was doing in high school before this. But I mean, I would sing in different kinds of heavy bands too, for sure. Something more underground, less digestible than BDM. Maybe a brutal death metal band, for example. I would love a lot of that stuff. Walk around my house making, gutturals like everyone else that likes brutal death metal, just taking a pee and going, so I'd enjoy that for sure. But then again, I don't know. It's like this band takes up so much of my life. You know what I mean? We're gone most of the time. Every egg in my life is in this one basket, basically. I've put 1,000% into it. So it's hard for me sometimes to deviate, I think, is really what it comes down to.